What's going on, guys? I'm just making a video here on how to do the phosphorus bronze washer mod on the Benchmade Model 42 here. Um, it's simple enough, but some people may have trouble getting this done easily without a tutorial. So I figured I would make a tutorial while I'm doing it on my personal Benchmade Model 42, which I received yesterday, and I must say it is quite awesome, but holy shit does it have a lot of play. Alright, so the things you're going to need are a piece of wood with a hole drilled in it. I used a 5/16 drill bit and a drill, of course, but you don't really need a 5/16 drill bit. You can use any drill bit that will allow the pivot to push through. You could probably use a 1/4 inch as well. Some lubricant, Torx wrenches, but I use my trusty Benchmade blue box. The washers, which are, I believe they're 0.330 by 0.197 by 0.015 for a 3/16 pivot from knifekits.com. And I got some Loctite. Oh, and one other thing that you're going to need is a nail with both sides cut off. I only cut off one side, the pointed side, because I used a finishing nail. But you can get pretty much any nail that will fit into these pivots. This finishing nail, I believe, should work just fine, and I don't have to cut off the other end because it's already blunt. But if you have a nail that you need to cut both sides off, I just used a hacksaw and put it in a vise and cut it right off. It was no problem. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do, is remove the screws from your Benchmade 4X series knife. And for this, I used the Torx 8 size from the Benchmade blue box. I didn't even need to use the rest of the box. This pulled them out just fine. They weren't that tight. But next thing we're going to do is we're going to push the pivot pins out of the handles. Alright guys, now you're ready to push the pivot pins through. So I'm just going to show you how you can do it here. It's going to be kind of difficult with one hand. So bear with me. This is also my first time doing it. So bear with me as well, as I might not really know how easy these are to push through. So we'll find out. But you're going to want to put your piece of wood with the hole there. I can't hold this all with one hand, so yeah. You're going to want to put the wood there, and then once the wood is there, you're holding it with one hand. You're going to take your Model 42 with the nail stuck into it, or whatever you used, and you're going to push it up against the vise, and the hole should be lined up with the pivot pin that you're pushing out, and that's going to provide a space for the pin to go once you start pushing it out. And all you're going to do when you're set up like this is just make sure nothing's moving, and you're just going to crank the vise closed, and yeah, it should pop it right out. I'll be back in a second and see how that works. Alright guys, so I pushed that pin out. It really didn't require as much force as I thought. Maybe like half a turn, and then it just popped right out. I had a little bit of trouble. Well, not really trouble, but I was just getting kind of scared because the knife was just pushing right into the wood. I thought it was getting stuck or something. But I figured I was holding the knife to keep it steady as it went into the wood, and the pivot pin just popped out. It really didn't require that much force at all. I thought it was going to be a bitch to get these out, but they really just pop out. It's not bad at all. Alright, I'm going to do the next one, and I will be right back with you. Okay, so now that we've got the knife fully disassembled, we can take a look at the washers. These ones right here, the steel washers, are the ones that were in the knife when it's come from the factory, and these are the ones that I purchased from Knife Kits. And then see if I can get a good comparison of both. See if it'll focus. You can see that these PV washers are quite a bit thicker than the other ones, and yeah, I know, my hands are disgusting. They're all beat up and shit, I know. These are quite a bit thicker and should reduce some of the play. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna see if I can find out a way to put these on the washers and push them back in, or put these back on the pivot pins and push them back in, and I'll come back to you and show you. Alright guys, so all I did for this was really just push the pivot in a little bit, put the first washer on so it holds it in place, then I slipped the blade in, and then I put the washer through the top here, and I moved it over so it wasn't in the hole, using just my Benchmade tool there. I just used it to push it in. So yeah, I'm gonna push this pivot pin back in, and I'll let you know how it turns out. Alright, so now the pivot pin is pushed back in, and I put the screw back in there to retain it, and this is looking pretty good. I already feel like it's losing play. I mean, I don't know, I'm gonna have to show you once the other handle's on, but people with Benchmades will tell you that they do have a lot of play. They have that so-called magic spot where the two handles line up, and I think this is going to get rid of it. I think it's going to look awesome. Well, not really look awesome, but it's going to feel awesome. It's not going to feel like it's cheap and plays like a motherfucker. When I first got this knife, I felt like it had a lot of play, and it felt almost like it was cheap. And this is not a cheap knife. This is a $300 knife, but due to the weight, I knew the weight is going to be light, but the weight and the play made it feel like it was a cheap knife. So I'm hoping that this is going to get rid of all of that play and make it feel like a Benchmade. Alright, I'm going to go finish up and put this last screw and washers in, and I will be right back to show you. Alright guys, so now the washers are in, this is the amount of play it has. It drastically reduced it. And it feels like a much more solid balisong now. It doesn't feel like it's too loose. I mean, I've adjusted the screws and everything so far, but I haven't Loctited them yet. But so far, it feels so much more smooth. Yeah, it doesn't feel cheap anymore. I mean, some people can get better results by custom grinding down their washers and everything, but I think these ones do a fine job, and it really didn't take that much time at all. This took maybe 20 minutes. It was really easy. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and hopefully you can get a nice tight Benchmade Model 42 like I do. Good luck and have a nice day.